Welcome to What a Creep, the show with Margot Donahue and Sonia Mansfield talking about creeps from the past to the present.
This is your quick guide to the biggest creeps, jerks, assholes, and losers, the best of the worst.
From two nice ladies who want the world to be a little less creepy. Welcome back to What a Creep. This is Margot Donahue, and my cohort in creepitude, as always, is the amazing Sonia Mansfield. Hey, Sonia.
Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. Do you know that there's another Margot Donahue, by the way, in the world?
What?
I didn't.
There's only one in my heart.
Yes. She either goes to Brown or Smith, one of them smarty pants colleges, and she's in the class of 26, but I Googled my name and that news alert came up. So if you're listening,
all right.
Hey, Margot.
Hi, Margot.
We are the podcast that talks about creeps from the past to the present. I think today's going to be one of the ones it's going to be okay to listen to with your kids, especially if they don't mind language. We do use salty language in this program, but today's not going to be very murdery or anything like that. Thank goodness.
That's fucking sweet.
We do have a basic Facebook page. You can like that, but we don't ever go there. And only people that do go there do complain about our language. So that's why I just mentioned we use salty language in this program. Also, we have a private Facebook group, and that's actually where we're the most interactive. We know not all of you like Facebook, and Sonia is one of those people that only hangs out in our Facebook group. But you do have to ask to join, but we do talk about creeps there. On social media, we do have, on Twitter, we still have CreepPod. Don't really check it all that much because somebody had What a Creep on Twitter for 10 years and never used it.
Great.
Threads, Blue Sky, and Instagram, we're at What a Creep Podcast. And we have an old-timey email, whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com. We're always looking for suggestions for creeps and for non-creeps. Also, if you would like some stickers, we got some fancy stickers we could send to you.
Yeah.
Wherever you are on the planet of Earth, we will send them to you. We will get them to you. Don't you worry.
Yes. Don't you worry. We will find you.
We will find you. That's what I was thinking of. Sonia, do you want to tell them about the website?
Yeah, go to whatacreeppodcast.com and it's everything you ever wanted to know about our podcast but were afraid to ask. It has links to all of our past episodes. And in each of those little blog posts are show notes because we source every single thing we do. We're not making this up. If you want to do a deeper dive on any of our creeps, that's a fabulous place to start. We have a link to our Substack that we publish there monthly. And we have a link to our merch shop. There we go. I was getting there. Merch shop where you can get t-shirts and tote bags, journals, all kinds of awesome stuff. The shirts are super comfy. I buy some every once in a while because they're the best sleep shirts in the world, if you ask me. And there's a link to our Patreon. You want to tell them about that, Margot?
Yes, Patreon. We have our first 8 seasons up on that wall. We also put out 2 bonus episodes a month. I want to say thank you to Hasiba, Kimberly, and Kara, all for joining recently.
Oh, thank you.
We really, really appreciate it. The money just goes to like the basic costs of putting the show together. We really appreciate all of you. And if you're looking for a way to support us, like money's tighter, you even want to support us even more. Somebody, I think it was Felicia, actually signed up for the Substack and paid for it. But you can also, without money, y'all, just hit them stars on iTunes. Just hit the 4.
Yeah.
You don't even have to go through the whole rigmarole. We're on Spotify. You can now leave reviews on Good Pods. We've been really ranking high there on Good Pods. Whatever podcast app you use, if they give you the ability to rate the show, please do so. We would really appreciate it. It helps us to find our people. And we're finding new people all the time. They come join the Facebook group and they're all excited. Like, yeah, we're here for you.
We love it. Makes us so. That's why we're doing it. Help us, help you.
Was that Jerry Maguire?
Yes.
We did that for Dorking Out last week or the week before. I forget now.
Yes. So fun.
It was so fun. That was with Adam. That's our other show.
Yeah.
But today, Sonia, are you ready to talk about something real serious?
Super serious. Can't wait. I'm a serious person. Hold on. Let me put on my serious face. It looks just like my regular face.
We're talking about Warner Brothers again. And their CEO who just makes these choices. You know, it's now Warner Brothers Discovery. They took the HBO and then made it Max. They've been Max. They have been TMC. They fired a bunch of people that worked at Turner Classic Movies, which is a very popular place for movie lovers, and also just they have like a wine club. They do these screenings. Like, these people are passionate about that channel. But he's a bean counter.
Love Turner Classic Movies.
Those intros to their movies,
yes,
with the foxy Ben Mankiewicz, but also with everybody. So foxy. But just like, everybody is so great. And I've learned about so many amazing movies because of them. But like we said, this is capitalism. They merge things together. You have 1,000 Pound Life right there on the HBO Max page, right next to like The Sopranos. I mean,
it's so weird.
This is the world we live in. But this past year, there's this movie that's not being released called Coyote versus Acme. And we want to talk about why this is creepy, why this is upsetting. It is based, by the way, in February 1980, the New Yorker magazine published a satire called Coyote versus Acme, written by Ian Fraser. It's in their Shouts and Murmurs section. And it was a story about Wile E. Coyote suing Acme, the company that supplied him with equipment he tried to use to catch the Roadrunner for all his injuries over the years. A great idea.
Meep, meep.
Meep, meep, meep. You would think with the success of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, combining animation with live actors would work, would give people the idea to do this story. It's Looney Tunes. Who doesn't love Looney Tunes? Monsters.
True. I know. I grew up watching old Looney Tunes all the time.
The best.
So funny.
So, however, wasn't a project until the 2020s, and Warner Brothers hired writer Sammy Birch, who, by the way, was nominated for an Oscar this year for May December.
Oh, okay.
She wrote this movie.
This is fascinating to me.
It's Will Forte is in there. John Cena, who's been getting a ton of press because of his Oscar appearance. It was testing really well. The project was completed in 2022. So yes, we did have a thing called COVID. We did have a thing called shutdowns. We had, it took a while to get back to things going back to the way they were. But this film was completed in 2022. And now the parent company, Warner Brothers, refuses to release it. Instead, they want to write it off for tax purposes, much like they did with Catwoman. Now,
Batgirl.
Batgirl? Why did I write Catwoman?
I don't know. It's Batgirl.
It's Batgirl. I am so sorry, y'all.
You're fine.
But the thing is that Batgirl could have been absolutely terrible. We were all just in a Brendan Fraser haze, and we wanted that Brendan Fraser content, and he was in there. And I'm willing to watch a shitty movie on HBO if I don't have to go to the theater. But
you know what?
Yeah,
I was going to say that Batgirl is actually written by the same woman who wrote Birds of Prey, the Harley Quinn movie, which I really loved. Like, I thought it was super fun. And I was like, oh, maybe Batgirl is going to be like that. And it was going to have Michael Keaton in it back as Batman. And I was like, I'm all in. And then they're like, nah, we're just not going to release it. And I'm like, why do you?
Yeah.
How is that worth it? Like, anyway, sorry, I'm interrupting, but like,
no, please. This is the show. Look, it is the capitalism there. They have to appeal to their investors, and investors always expect to make more money. They never expect to have dips and things like that, where you're talking about what's supposed to be a creative venture. Saturday Night Fever, which is something I'm writing about right now, tested terribly. And they had lines around the block from day one.
Yep.
There's a lot of movies that don't test well. There are movies that test great and don't do well. I mean, of course, it's an incomplete science. Some people are still not going back to the theater, but in the last year, attendance has gone way up, especially since Barbie, Oppenheimer. The Flash didn't do well, but there have been movies that have had, a lot of success, people coming back and being eager to check something out. I feel like this generation would love their own Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That was one of the most fun movies of my youth.
Yes, if you haven't seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, it works on so many levels. It is so funny. Like, it's funny if you love animation. It's funny if you love like old detective movies. It's
Yep.
like a spoof of these old detective movies as well. Like Bob Hoskins is all in.
He's so
Like an
great.
all-timer performance that does not get the props it deserves because it's a comedy. Like, I think we've done an episode on dorking out about Who Framed Roger Rabbit because
Yeah, we definitely did for
it's-
book versus movie, and we
Yeah.
had a lot of people respond to it. Yeah,
it's so
it holds
good.
up. It holds up really
Yes.
well. So this past November, David Zaslav of WB, Warner Brothers, Discovery, said that they were going to not release this movie and instead take $30 million and put it as a tax write-off for Q4. That they
So
didn't.
shitty.
I mean, this is, and once again, Barbie made a lot of money, like $1 billion. But
In our
this
year, the year of our Lord Barbie.
the year of our Lord Barbie, it made $1 billion, but still, like I said, there are bean counters. This
Yeah.
has caused a lot of controversy, and this one actually is starting to have legs because people have been talking. People are very, very passionate about their movies. They're very passionate about
Yeah.
Looney Tunes and their favorite actors and writers. And in an industry town, which is what Hollywood is, it's where most people make their living. And when you
Yes.
just they're considering very close to just supposedly just deleting the movie so that there is absolutely no evidence of it. So nobody can ever see it, which
What
is
the
appalling for all of the artists that worked on it, all the people that worked on it. Hollywood is a young industry. If you've ever had to like update your resume and go, "Ooh, I better like take some of these, credits off because I need to appear younger."
Yeah.
It's really, that's what Hollywood is like. When you're showing your resume, your CV, your portfolio, whatever it is, you always want your latest stuff.
Yeah, the last thing you did
Right.
is now not something that anyone can see.
Right. And you could say, and it was really great. And they could shrug their shoulders like, but you have no proof, which
Yeah.
sucks. So the sources today are IndieWire, and all the links are in our show notes, so you can look this up for yourselves. IndieWire, The Ringer, Deadline, The Wrap, Lainey Gossip. They actually really were pissed off there. Normally she's just into goop. The Hollywood Reporter, Screen Rant, AV Club, The Verge, and Wikipedia. And I wanted to start, Sonia, with, on Wikipedia, there's a list of abandoned and unfinished films. And some of these are fucking hilarious. But these are films abandoned during post-production or completed, never released.
Oh, I can't wait.
So
Give it to me.
1926, it was Charlie Chaplin with a movie
Okay.
called A Woman of the Sea. He was unsatisfied with it, so he destroyed all copies in front of witnesses as a tax write-off in 1933. So this has
Wow,
been
that's too
happening
bad.
for a while.
I love Chicken of the Sea.
What's the other one? We have in 1972, The Day the Clown Died by Jerry Lewis.
Oh my God, this one's so famous. That was so famous.
This is from Wikipedia. Filming completed in 1972 and a rough cut was made, but the film was never released due to various disputes. The film was not without controversy of its content. It features a circus clown who is imprisoned in a Nazi concentration camp. I'm sorry.
hilarious. It's so hilarious.
Lewis submitted an incomplete print to the Library of Congress under an agreement it would not be screened until 2024, Sonia. We've been
It's
hearing about
happening.
this shit our whole lives. So here's a
Can't-
pretty famous one.
When's it going to be streaming? Hurry up.
I'll actually go to the theater to see that, I think. You could probably finally see my ass back at Alamo.
Oh my God.
1992 to 93, The Fantastic Four, filming completed in 1993. Labor Day release was planned, and then it was pushed to January of 94, only to be canceled at the last minute. It started Alex Whitehite, Jade Underwood, Michael Bailey. Obviously, these are not huge stars. But
Yeah.
it's one of those films that Stan Lee decided they ash canned the production because it wasn't good
Yeah.
enough.
Only Batman was, I mean, Batman was huge in '89, but
Right.
any other attempt at comic book movies,
They were pretty lame.
yeah,
They
it
were-
wasn't catching on.
They were not catching on. Brendan Fraser, who we just mentioned, and Marlon Brando were going to be in Big Bug Man, which was an animated feature in 2006, but Brando fucking died.
Wah, wah.
Well, there's a movie called Hippie Hippie Shake, starring Cillian Murphy and Sienna Miller, based on the memoir of the same name by Richard Neville. It was shot in 2007. There was a rough cut test that was test screened, and the director just left during post production, said this sucks, and they never did anything with it. Here's one of my favorites: 2008, Queen of Media, Robin Givens and Oliver Power Grant. Based on Wendy Williams's biography, Wendy Got the Heat. The film was shot in 2008 with $3 million budget, but was never released.
And it's so good.
Blackwater Transit with Lawrence Fishburne and Carl Urban, budgeted at $23 million. It was shot in
23 million. Damn.
and a rough cut was screened in 2008, but it was never completed due to financial and legal disputes. Tom Green had a mockumentary. We all remember Tom Green, don't we?
Yes. Freddie got fingered.
He was married to Drew Barrymore for a minute.
Yeah.
He had a movie called Prank Star, and it never materialized, but he had some backing for it. He was a thing.
He was a thing that existed.
We have some real reasons here. The Long Home. It's James Franco.
Well,
that's enough reason. That's from 2015.
yeah, that's good enough.
2016, Jamie Foxx, All-Star Weekend. The directorial debut of Jamie Foxx. The film was scheduled for release in 2018. In August 2022, Fox confirmed the film will not be released due to it trying to break open the sensitive customers, with Robert Downey Jr. playing a Mexican man. Yes. This movie has Robert Downey. Okay, let me say that again. Robert Downey Jr. is playing a Mexican man. This has Jamie Foxx, Jeremy Piven, Eva Longoria, Robert Downey Jr., Ken Jeong, Gerard Butler, and Benicio del Toro.
They better hope that one doesn't come out. That sounds bad.
Gore, 2017. It's based on Jay Perini's biography of Gore Vidal, Empire of Self, A Life of Gore Vidal.
I thought you were going to say Al Gore. I was like, it's going to be so boring.
It's going to be so fucking dull. The film was in post-production when Netflix decided to cancel following the sexual assault allegations against Kevin Spacey, who was going to star as Gore.
Okay, that's a good reason.
Which is a damn good reason.
Why don't they just get Christopher
Batgirl
Plummer to replace him?
Oh, there was one from 2022. It's called Scoob, Holiday Haunt. It was a Scooby-Doo movie. And there's actually an exclamation point. It doesn't even say Scooby.
Yeah.
It just says Scoob.
They couldn't afford the why. They had to go with just the explanation.
They just canceled Scoob. And Andre Braugher was in it, R.I.P.
Oh.
So anyway, that we're talking right now about this production that Warner Brothers is Coyote versus Acme. It was directed by Dave Green, written by Sammy Birch, stars Will Forte and John Cena. And basically it was screened. It was screening very, very well. And Warner Brothers just decided, you know what, we're just not gonna release it. And so then other outlets had said, well, we'd like to give it a try. Let us see this movie. Supposedly, the suits at Warner Brothers, the big cheeses, have not seen the movie. They have not screened this movie. But they have screened it for other companies like Paramount and Netflix and Sony. And they all offered money for it. But he said he turned them all down. And basically, he says he didn't explain that he only wants $70 million for this film. And even Paramount said that, we're willing to share the costs or, the profits or something, because we want to do a big, film release. We want to have a premiere and all this stuff. And basically, it all kind of waters down to the fact that I think that the big boss just doesn't want to look like a schmuck at this point. Like
Too late.
It's exactly. But he's basically, he just doesn't want to look like a jerk. So this movie could, yes, literally be deleted at any moment. The writer for the movie, she was on the red carpet and she said just a few days ago, I hope they're going to still consider, selling it to someone else. But as of right now, it doesn't look like it's going anywhere. So, like I said, all the people that worked on this film, it's all for naught, basically. They put in all this effort. And Will Forte, he's been putting out, he tweeted out like how upset he is that this has happened. The person that edited the movie actually put a tattoo of a coyote on their wrist to show how much they loved working on that movie. The directors has been trying to reach out to people. Like I said, the people that were involved in it are very passionate about trying to sell it to someone else and make it happen. But I don't know. It just doesn't look like it doesn't look like it's gonna happen. And it's, like I said, it's just incredibly sad. People put all of their time and their effort into doing this. And it's all because they want to just change their synergy and move, in this direction versus that direction. And it could be a huge hit. And I think with all this publicity, I think a lot of people would show up just to.
I think so too.
But I think he just doesn't want to look like a schmuck.
Too late again. Like, what a fuck up. And it's interesting you mentioned this movie is written by a woman. Batgirl also written by a woman.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah.
These are some of the most expensive. There's The Mothership was $40 million. There was a movie called The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, and the person that was in charge almost died. Superman Lives. That was the one that they put in $30 million. So there's obviously, it's a lot of money to be put in there, but there's also, we don't get a lot of Looney Tunes in our entertainment.
I would think that this would damage Warner Brothers in that who wants to work with a because again, I think this is the second time now they've done this.
Yes.
Who wants to work with them thinking that if your movie, like if for whatever reason they don't like it or they decided it's hit a number that it's better to just get their tax write-off, that shit wouldn't be worth it to me. I would be like, I would rather take it somewhere else.
Yeah, and they're stuck in that bind. Like the director can't do that. The producers can't do that. That is his job. He's made deals, Zaslav, with Tom Cruise, George Clooney, Margot Robbie. There are people that do have deals with Warner Brothers, but we'll see. It's really just a sad time in the movies. And then the person that wrote the best adapted screenplay, I'm blanking on his name. But you love this movie.
What was the movie that won? I forget. Adapted screenplay. It wasn't American Fiction.
Yes, it was American Fiction. Oh, no,
was that original?
No, it's adapted. Yeah.
Oh, was it adapted screenplay? Let's look it up. I want to make sure we're right. No, it's for the. No, you're right. It was American Fiction. You're right.
And he made the case of that. Why don't you just make like $5-10 million movies?
Yes.
So that
exactly
we can have options for things we want to see. Like it does not everything has to be the 70 million, 200 million, whatever, like CGI, whatever. Like, I mean, people just miss going to movies, just regular old movies. So anyway.
Yeah. No, good call. And it was Cord Jefferson who
Thank
did
you,
that.
Cord Jefferson.
I was mixing it up. Original screenplay was Anatomy of the Fall.
Which was also excellent, by the way.
Excellent.
And we need more movies like that.
Yes.
Then
definitely.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's the Warner Brothers. We've talked about this guy before, but they're really screwing up some great brands that are there. I
They
mean,
are.
Looney Tunes was Warner Brothers, was huge
Yes.
for them, and the fact that they're screwing this up so badly is it's just upsetting.
It just sucks.
I just want to also celebrate, though,
Yeah.
we didn't have to use any trigger warnings in this episode.
Nice.
That's our creep this week. That's the creepy news this week.
Yeah. Good job, friend.
Thank you, friend.
Do you want to hear about someone who's not a creep?
Please.
You actually mentioned her for like a split second there. I want to talk about Margot Robbie.
Oh.
So, I'm sure everyone knows who she is. She's an actress. She's the producer. She's received all kinds of nominations, 3 Academy Award nominations. By the way, she hasn't been acting that long. Like,
No.
she hit it big in like 2013 with Wolf of Wall Street. So in the last 10 years, she's been nominated for an Oscar 3 times, 6 BAFTA award nominations, 4 Golden Globe awards. She's one of the 100 most influential people in the world. She was born July 2nd, 1990. I feel so old.
I know.
In Australia. When she was a kid, she went to circus school. That's right. Then she excelled at the trapeze. If you've seen the Suicide Squad movies, like there's a whole thing where she's doing a bunch of trapeze stuff.
Have you ever
That's
done a
probably-
trapeze, by the way?
No, I'm terrified.
It's fucking terrifying. I took a lesson
Yeah.
once and I almost got vertigo from it. It was so terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always in awe of people that can do that, or any kind of tumbling. I don't know how they do that, but yeah, she had a certificate in that at the age of 8. She studied drama in college. She worked 3 jobs. She tended bar, she cleaned houses, and she worked at a Subway sandwich shop. Me too, once for 4 hours, and then I ran away crying. It was the worst.
Was this when you were a teenager?
Yeah, I was a teenager. I was so
Aw.
shy back then, y'all, that I couldn't even take orders from people to make their sandwiches. I left in tears, and I didn't
Aw.
go back, not even to pick up my check.
Poor Sonia.
I know, little baby Sonia. So after graduation, she moved to Melbourne and she got into acting there. She got a job on the Australian soap opera Neighbours.
Very popular show. My brother
yeah.
lived in Australia.
Apparently, she was meant to be a guest star, but she became very, very famous. Or really liked her character, so she stayed on for 3 years. After that, she came to America. She was on the show Pan Am.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one? Which, by the way, it looked beautiful. I just wasn't into it.
It wasn't a
was
great script, but it looked gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah. It was canceled after 1 season. And then after that, it's 2013, she does Wolf of Wall Street and she just blows up. And I don't need to list all of her credits, but she is a huge star. So I picked her for Not a Creep, not just because, hey, I love her and she does great movies, but she co-founded a production company called Lucky Chap Entertainment. She did it in 2014, and she co-founded it with her husband and 2 other women. And I'm sorry, Josie McNamara and Sophia Kerr.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal of this company is to promote female stories from female storytellers. They're trying to fill that gender gap in the film industry in terms of writing and directing. So they have done, they produced I, Tonya, which she starred in.
Which I really
they did-
enjoyed.
Yeah. They did the TV series on Hulu, Dollface. I only watched 1 or 2 episodes and I was like, it's fine. But they also did Birds of Prey, Promising Young Woman, Saltburn.
What? That's Margot
Barbie.
Robbie?
Yeah. Her company produced all of those.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I think that's really, really cool. In November 2019, Robbie and Birds of Prey and Batgirl's screenwriter, Christina Hodson, they created something called the Lucky Exports Pitch Program. And it's where they got 6 female identifying writers and worked with them to write help them develop their screenplays. So in October 2020, all 6 were signed. All 6 of the projects were picked up by studios. It's pretty dope.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool. She's also a very vocal supporter of like human rights, women's rights, gender equality, the LGBTQ plus community. She's done a lot of fundraising for like, the Motion Picture Television Fund, which helps people who work in film and television industry that have no resources. She has joined other celebrities in the UN Refugee Agency, like raising money for stuff like that. UNICEF, Children's First, all of those things. She just seems like a really rad person.
She is a really rad person.
I feel like, who did we talk about last week where we're like, oh, you talked about Jesse Eisenberg and you're like, gosh, yes. I hope it doesn't come out like a couple months later. You're like, oops. I hope that that's not true for Margot Robbie. She seems to be a delightful person and has been making really smart choices. She's been married for like almost 10 years, I think. She just picks really smart projects. She's really smart.
That's awesome, Sonia.
Yeah, I thought I really, really like that she does that production company and purposely picks those kinds of movies, because those are the kind of movies that big studios don't want to pick up.
Right.
They again, like, they think that women aren't viable box office audiences, even though Barbie made like a gazillion fucking dollars, or Taylor Swift's concert movie made $1 million, billions of dollars, and they're still like, I don't know, women like go to the movies. And she's saying they do, and she pushes out, these are really good movies. Like I, Tanya's dope, Birds of Prey, dope, Promising Young Woman, dope, Barbie, dope, Saltburn, dope. Dope. Yeah. So that's our non-creep, Margot Robbie.
Thank you, Sonia. That was great. I like that. I hope that Warner Brothers doesn't screw her over. I hope if she's listening to this episode, I hope that she's like double checking that these people are taking care of her.
Yes.
Well, if you like the sound of our voices, we've mentioned this earlier in the show, but Sonia and I co-host a podcast called Dorking Out, where we dork out about movies. What are we dorking out about next, Sonia?
We are going to be dorking out about She-Devil. This has been on Margot's list for a while, so it's time.
I stupid love this movie. I watched it again a few months ago, and I was like, Sonia, please, we have to like push this up the list. It's Meryl Streep, it's Roseanne, Ed Begley Jr., Sylvia Miles. It's bananas. It's great. It's really fun. So that's going to be coming up next. If you have suggestions for creeps or non-creeps, once again, use all those things I mentioned at the top of the show, all those social media places. You can send us. We love it when you use the 80 Pots gift. We got one from Ghostbusters. Or you could just be clever and pick something on your own.
Yeah, you do you, boo.
You do you, boos. Our email, once again, is whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com. And Sonia, where can they find you?
You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on all the social media channels. Again, don't really go to my Facebook, though. So slide into my DMs on the other ones if you want to. Where can people find you?
You can find me at Brooklyn Fit Chick. That's also where I am for Twitter and Instagram and Threads. On TikTok, as long as that exists. We're finding out about that. That could be gone any second now. I'm at Brooklyn Margot. I have some clips there of She-Devil if you want to go check them out. Yeah. People seem to be appreciating that. And that's also me on Blue Sky, which I just realized I don't use Blue Sky enough. I need to use Blue Sky more. But please follow me.
Been trying.
Follow me. And next week we'll come up with a new creep for you. But in the meantime, everybody, be safe, be kind. Don't be a creep.
Be a creep. Thank you for listening to us talk about creeps. You can follow us at What a Creep Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
But don't follow us too closely.
You can email us your creepy stories at whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com.
But please keep your dick pics to yourself.